everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. Now that we've got the tin for our 1948 8N painted and it's cured, we're going to go ahead and start our final assembly. Today what we're going to do is put on the tin and all the lights and get them all working. Got our fenders on, that's looking pretty good. So, the fenders are held on with these long bolts that go through the axle housing, and underneath we've got these brackets. These are an accessory, it's a sway control. So basically what happens is there's another arm like this that goes from there to there, which creates a triangle here and keeps your 3-point hitch from swaying. For use with some implements, not all implements. There's a few other accessories we'll be installing on this thing, and I'll show you them as we go along. This little rack is a cool accessory from back in the day. It gives you a place to store your drawbar and your sway control bars and your little stay bars, your top link, or a grease gun when they're not in use. This was an aftermarket thing that you used to be able to buy in the 50s for these little tractors. I made this from pictures that I've seen of them, but there is a company, Red Rock Manufacturing, that reproduces a lot of the old accessories for the N series tractors, and they make one, so you can buy one from them and put it on your fender just like this one. It's pretty neat. Here's a nice accessory, a seat cushion. Makes that metal pan seat a little more bearable. And we've got a ball bearing steering spinner on here. Another accessory we've covered in a previous video is a Sherman overdrive transmission. Another thing we have to worry about is the fuel tank. It bolts up in on the underside of the hood there. It's a known issue on these 8Ns because, well, it's a steel tank and these things sit around and sit around and sit around, and the gas goes skunky and makes a mess of the inside of the tank, which plugs up the fuel line, bungs up the carburetor, and you got an 8N that just won't want to run. It's a very popular question on the forums that I'm on. You know, people are always saying, oh, how do I flush out my fuel tank? Well, I'll show you what the problem is. They've got a lot of rust and crap and stuff in them. I was trying to shine a light in there, but I can't. It's sometimes hard to get it out because this thing has got a baffle across it to keep the fuel from sloshing when you're going up and down hills and whatnot. So if it's really infested with rust inside, a lot of times you're better off just to pay the $100 and whatever and just buy a new tank. It'll be so much less grief in the end. But anyway, this one inside is really, really, really clean. So all we got to do is give the outside of it a cosmetic freshen up, and it'll be good to put in. Well, we've got our hood pretty much ready to go back on. The fuel tank has got a coat of paint and a new gas cap, and it's very important. I forgot to show you. Right here on the top of the fuel tank, there's a little dome, and in the side of that dome there's a tiny little hole drilled. That's your fuel tank vent. You got to make sure that's clear. Another thing you can do, if you're not sure if that vent is clear without taking your whole tractor apart, you could take, if you've got a metal gas cap that looks like this, you could take it to any New Holland dealer. Give them the serial number of your 8N or 9N or 2N, tell them what year it is, and they will take this off of you and give you a vented gas cap. Free. This has been a program that's been ongoing since the 90s because there were some problems. Mud daubers were plugging up the actual tank vent, and guys would take the gas cap off and get a face full of gas. So Ford Tractor at the time, before they were gobbled up by New Holland, came up with a program whereas they would exchange your gas cap for you. Any New Holland dealer will do that for any gasoline-powered Ford tractor. If they don't know what the hell you're talking about, just Google Ford 8N gas cap exchange, and you will find the technical service bulletin. You just print that out and take that with you, and you'll get a nice vented gas cap for free for your tractor. It's a safety thing. Me, I'm okay with this for now. I'll stick with that. But I've gotten them before. And we put our nice reproduction Ford badge on the front and got the embossed Ford scripts. Not really painted. I cheated. Those are vinyl decals. I got them at Steiner's. I've used them before too. They're quite nice. If you haven't got really that steady of a hand or no patience, believe me, it doesn't look as nice as hand painting them, but it looks nicer than if I would have hand painted them. I've got the back of it pretty much together now. In the end, I decided to go ahead and put a set of flashers on it. I wasn't really quite sure if I was going to do that or not. But, I mean, if there's a chance you're going to operate this thing on the road, it really should have a set of flashers on it. Your life is worth at least that much. Instead of the way I normally do it with using dual brackets and putting them here, I went with these old school. These are real Ford ones off probably a 70s Ford tractor. And I do believe these were available as a kit for retrofitting. The only thing that screwed up was I was going to put this nice Ford tractor license plate on there, but it kind of blocks my one flasher. Anyway, that's okay. The bracket will stay because I welded on this piece for the trailer lamp. I may eventually cut it across there and dress it down and paint the edge, but for now it can stay. It's not hurting anything. So what we've got here is we fixed up a work light. Now bear in mind this is a 1948. There was no work light available in the factory kits that were being sold for these tractors back then. So on a 1948 tractor, pretty much anything you can come up with to put there is correct. Does have the correct Taurus taillight, which I think 1948 is the last year for those. In 49-ish, maybe later in 49 into 1950, the lighting kit started coming with the dual lamp taillight, but this Taurus taillight is correct for our 1948. So you can see there, the taillight. There's our work light. And the flashers. These are kind of a self-contained unit. The actual flasher unit is in there, the switch is in there, everything. And we also have our trailer plug here. We'll make sure it works. Yep, good. And down here on the dash, because we've got an alternator, there you can see is our indicator light, our charge light. And I changed up the ignition switch to one with the start function so we can have a horn like we have on our other tractors. Now that I'm done with wiring and everything, I've installed the toolbox. Inside there is a complete original toolkit. Now what we're going to do is test fit the hood. Once I know that the hood fits, we'll put the sides on it and the lights and all that stuff. I've measured already. What I always do before I put the hood on is I just measure from the center of the radiator hole back to here. And I measure, same thing, from there to the center of the rad neck. Because with the upper radiator hose, you can adjust the angle of the radiator a tiny bit. This hose has got a little bit of a kink in it because this crappy aftermarket rad, well, this doesn't exactly point the right way. But anyway, it is what it is. It'll be okay. The hood is mostly all together. It's hanging from the engine crane, and we'll just lift it on nice and easy. Well, that went pretty well. Using the engine crane was the right thing to do. So I got the hood on, bolted down, the headlights are hooked up and working. The only real issue I have is I have to fiddle around with the grill a little bit. The little push pins here are not engaging with the holes in the bottom of the hood. That's just something needs a little tweak. I'll work on that later. I got the air cleaner, the cyclone pre-cleaner, the fuel pipe, all that stuff all in and hooked up. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritties now. I need some wheels. That's what we need, is wheels. There's the centers for them there. They just need sandblasting. The front wheels are under there. The rims, proper original Ford rims there, they need cleaning up. And I have 4 brand new tires for it. So this thing is going to be really snazzy, man. Now we've got our front wheels in primer and our front bumper. And the rims for the rear wheels are ready to go. The bands have been repaired. If you're familiar with these old Ford wheels, you'll know about the band in here. I'll cover that in a future video someday. These ones were already fixed by somebody previous. And the center discs of the rear wheels are ready for paint. Well, we're in pretty good shape here now. We've got our wheels all ready to go together. On these 8 ends, the actual rims of the wheels were originally from the factory. They had like a zinc coating on them. It would kind of have like a galvanized look to it, but a little bit different. It was a zinc coating. So the 2 wheels that I had here, one of them, I think that far one, had several coats of paint on it. And the zinc was in okay shape underneath it. And this one here, it was all gone. It looked like it had been sandblasted somewhere along the line. So I decided I just cleaned them up and painted them with the Tremclad aluminum, which is what I usually do on these 8 ends. It looks, close enough. It's not zinc coating, but it's silver. And I usually paint the insides of them too. It just, when you're trying to get the tires seated onto the beads, the tires slide over this a lot better if it's got a coat of shiny paint on it. So between the gloss paint and some soap, tires will go right on. There's our front wheels painted, the discs for the rear wheels painted. We've got all our wheel hardware ready to go. We should be in good shape. In the next video, we'll build up the tires onto the rims, get the wheels on the tractor, and there's still a ton of little things that we have to do. We'll go over all that stuff, get the thing running, get it outside, put it through its paces, and see what we've got. I've been screwing around with this blasted thing for, it's got to be, I'd say, close to 12 years now since I first laid eyes on it. And it's really something to be getting to the end of the road with it. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I just hope it's not another tractor coming the other way. Anyway, hopefully in the next one, like I said, we'll get all that other stuff done and we can wrap this thing up. Until then, if you haven't already and you like what you see, please down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, leave a comment. I love conversing with all you guys. And most importantly, please come back again to see what we're doing. Because if we're not working on this, we could be working on something else. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on the Claremont Classic Garage. So long for now.